game was played in Queen's Gambit decline Harrwitz attack. This game was further played in tournament which was organized by Sinquefield Cup, and this game was played in 2019. And I chose this game especially because of marvelous middle game play, due to its marvelous middle game play. So let's continue with our game. Liren is white, and actually he is usually a positional player. Knight 6 by Fabi. Now c4, e6, the most standard way to play against the Queen Gambit. Now knight f3, d5, and this is basically till present it is called as the Indian defense anti-names of Indian. But now knight to c3, and here the variation converts to Queen Gambit decline, 3 knights variation. But from this move after bishop to e7 and now bishop to f4, finally this is d37, Queen's Gambit declined, Harrwitz attack. If you play the move in this position, bishop to f4, then this converts to a Harrwitz attack. So black went out for normal development. Yes, sir. Now e3. The point of playing the move e3 is that now this bishop is eyeing this pawn. b6. This structure roundabout we have studied it. Still it is playable. In the last game, this game I not properly remember. I think there is no. Sorry, I will have to check my video actually. I have made this video. In this structure, in this sequence of the moves, usually black plays the move b6, then he develops his bishop over here, a6, and exchanges white's bishop. This is the concept in this variation. Then he develops, after his knight is over here on a6, then he plays the move c5 and vacates this here after playing the move like this for his knight. Even if white takes over here, he may take it by the knight. This is the concept behind it. Bishop d3 by white. Now it is the time to play the move d into c4. Because here, if black plays the move, for example, any move, bishop b7, then white would immediately take it. The point of taking this pawn is that now after black takes the pawn, knight into d5, queen into d5. In this way, also, black's bishop becomes active. But he, Liren went out for the straight way actually, and that was d into c4. Now bishop into c4. Now challenging the bishop over here on c4, bishop into bishop, knight into a6, and now queen e2. Now this queen is threatening this knight over here. And I want you people to pause the video over here because see, this is all theory, but I want you people to pause over here. What do you think that how you are going to protect this knight? Whether you are going to play the move knight to b4 or with the move which was played in the game, queen to c8. How you are going to play in this position? Both of the moves have its own positive aspects and its own drawbacks. But as they have all searched it or worked it out in the theory, if you play the move knight b4 over here, the point is that you are going to bring the knight over here on d5. But now white immediately plays the move e4 as the pawn is protected. And the next move you are going to play is c5. And now white can play the move rook d. This move is also playable. Fine game, queen c8 target. The point of this queen c8 move is that you are protecting this knight, and then you are going to bring this queen over here on b7 to control this diagonal. And then you are going to play the move c5 and challenge the center. This is the concept behind this move. So white here castles, queen b7, going with the plan. Now a3 by white. The point is of a3 is that now if white plays any move, for example like h3, now black is going to play the move knight b4. Now if rook ft1, now first knight ft5. Telling this knight, when this knight takes, to take with the knight, and see this knight is too much better over here in the center. So to avoid this, white immediately played the move a3. He does not the maneuver of the knight d5. So c5 by black, opening the center, knight b5. Why the move knight b5? I want you people to pause the video and think that why the move knight b5? Because this is already covered. Because of this pawn, and queen is also protecting this square. What is the other motive? That he's going to bring his bishop over here, exchange it. Are going to put his knight over here. The motive of this move is that this knight is better placed. It can't be challenged because of this move a6 over here in this position. That's why he played move d5. And now it is controlling important squares in black's territory. And then that he's going to play b4, challenge this pawn over here. And then going to bring his both of the rooks over here. And challenge this whole file. This is the concept of the white. That's why he did first knight b5. Then he's going with his plan. So rook ac8 by controlling this square, protecting this pawn, and putting this pressure on this c file. And Liren played the move b4, going with his plan. Now knight d5. The point of this move is that it is first challenging this bishop over here. And the second thing is that it is also controlling this square, and now it is also controlling this square in white's territory, and that is c3. And white went out with b into c5. Here I want you people to pause the video again, because this is lecture is all about middle game. After this move b into c5, you take this pawn, for example, then are you going to take this bishop afterwards? The point is that no, your knight is very well placed here. Let white lose the tempo by playing the move e4 at any time whenever he plays. Then bishop will be unprotected. He will have to move two tempo moves, lose two tempo moves to play the move e4. For example, he would first have to go queen to d2, protecting this bishop. Then he is going to play the move e4 after this bishop is being protected. And he will have to lose two tempo moves. And overnight is very good over here. So it's not the correct time to exchange this bishop. So that's why we take in the pawn after rook a b1, now rook c6 by black. It is a very difficult variation, and it is not easy to see on the board. Another continuation was queen a8, and it was not really easy to see on the board. The point of this queen a8 move is that Now if white goes for the exchange, now first to take the pawn because bishop is protected. Now knight f into d4. Now f d8, challenging this bishop over here. After bishop into e7, now knight into e7. Now what's the white has in this? In this analysis, I want you people to think because the options are those where we have options, different types of options, and we have to choose the best option and in that position. I'm giving you three options and you have to choose that what is the best option. First is queen, getting this queen over here. This is the first option I'm going to give you. The second option I'm going to give you that knight b3. The point of this knight b3 move would be that you are stopping this knight's move over here. Then you may bring your knight over here like this. Knight to a5. This knight would be protected. This is the second option. Okay, first option is this queen f3. Second, knight f b3. Third is rook fc1. Challenging this rook on the c file. And the fourth option is that rook b d1. Now you have to choose out of these four options. All are good ones. Then what is the best move? I hope you have understood that the best move is that you are going to first challenge this queen on the side. And it is in black's favor that he keeps the queen on the board. So he would play the move knight d5 over here. And then you will again take out this knight. If you have seen this move, knight f6. Now this pawn is threatened twice. Now e5. Knight comes back, for example, to d5. Knight to e4. The point of this knight e4 move is that you played this move e4, e5 is that you are going to post your knight on d6. And now rook fc1. And this is how you make it in the middle game. And what happens, I want to show you that what happens, for example, in this position. After queen f3, black takes the queen. Then again knight into f3. Then knight c6 by black. Rook fc1. Knight a b8. The point of this knight a b8 is that now it is coming over here. And there will be a lot of maneuvering in the position. But black's pieces are more, white's pieces are more active instead of its counterparts. And this is the difference. That's why black would keep his queens in the game. So we come into our game, and that was rook c6 played by now bishop e5. Now it was the time to protect this bishop and control this diagonal, protecting this pawn over here, still controlling this diagonal. Rook b6 by black. Now it is hitting this knight over here. a4, protecting the knight. Knight ac7, putting more pressure on this knight. D into c5, bishop into c5. And as this is a very still dry position and complicated one, and I want you people to again pause the video and think that what is the best move in this position for white. Sorry, I'm going to give two options. One is rook b7. The second one is Knight g5, putting pressure on this pawn. To maneuver this knight over here and pressure this bishop. And the third is, sorry, queen d3. I want you people to choose from these three options that which one is the best. Whether bc1 is best, second one, knight g5 is best, or queen d3 is best. And the answer to this question is that rook bc1 is best. And this was played in the game. Because now, knight into b5 and rook into bishop. This was more important than this knight on b5. Now look at it. This bishop is doing something. And it is controlling these diagonals in this position. And it's protecting this pawn. Whenever this rook moves out of the way, for example, whenever this rook moves out of the way, this bishop can come over here onto b6 and it would be at a very good place over here. But overnight on b5 is doing nothing at present. So that's why it was better to exchange our bad knight for black's good bishop. That's why Liren took that decision by playing the move bc1. So knight into b5, rook into c5, knight d6. One of this, as this knight was threatened, and if knight goes back over here, knight c7, it was not a good place because where it is going to next. From over here, from this knight, the point of this knight to d6 is that it might come over here on f5. Black would remove his knight anywhere. Like maneuver this knight over here. So a5 by white, first hitting the rook. Now c6 challenging the rook. Now bishop into knight first. So rook fc1, doubling the rooks. Now a6, creating a loop for the black king. White also do the same, h3, creating a loop for the white king. And rook ft8, doubling the rook on the d file. White has doubled the rook on the this file on c file. Division is roundabout equal, although white has some edge because of the his more mobility. And the main reason, for example, if you have to judge that why white has the edge, the reason behind is that these two rooks are being blocked by their own knight on d5. Due to this single problem in the position. That's why black is not least bit better, and white has an advantage. So knight e5. Point of this bringing the knight over here is that now it is controlling c6. And whenever this rook moves, for example, now black can go over here. And the second thing to knight e5 is that now it was just controlling these squares, central squares. But when it has been moved to over here e5, now it is controlling many squares in black's territory. So knight f6 by black, knight c6, challenging the rook over here. Rook d7. Now a6 by white. Why this pawn sacrifice? Is it a sacrifice? No, it is not a sacrifice because it is being protected by this queen. If you play the move, for example, rook fc2 over here, then black can go immediately in this knight over here, knight e5, and these exchanges are in favor of black now. because now you see that these two pieces are active and this knight is more active than overnight. So that's why a6 first. After queen b6, now changing this rook over here, and the second move is that he is going to pin the knight over here. So knight e5, rook d8, going back. The point of this that it is controlling this check of the rook. Now rook c8 still going for it, challenging the rook, and queen a5 was played by Fabi, and this was a little bit mistake by Fabi. Instead, he should have gone for this move, knight e7. And in first instance, it is not an easy one to just figure it out. Go for the further continuation. Look at the in the depth of this move. The point of this move is that you are going to win this pawn, and white is going to win this pawn. So now rook a6, rook into c6, knight into c6, hitting the rook. Rook has to move back. Rook f8. Now knight e7 check. King h8. Knight c8 hitting the queen. The queen has to move back. Queen a5. Knight e7. Now knight b8. Queen b2, threatening the knight, and now queen into a6. And this is actually a 9 moves. And in this way, the position completely becomes equal. And it was not an easy thing to find on the board. In the game, queen a5 was played, and now f4 by white. Instead, white should have gone for the move queen b2. I want you people to find the point of the view that why this move, queen b2, is better. Then they move this f4. Pause the video and think that why queen b2. What is the sense behind playing this move queen b2 by Liren? The point is this: if now queen a6, now queen b8, and you are putting pressure over here. Queen b6 challenging the queen. Now queen a8 still in the game. King moves to h7. Now your king also moves to king h2 to avoid any type of further checks. And you still keep the tension in the position. And this pawn is a goner at any time. And you are in this way of the moves, queen b2, you are controlling this 8th rank in the black's position. And you are in the attacking position. That's why this queen b2 move was better instead of this f4 move. So f4 was played in the game. Now rook d2 by back Fab. And why I want you people to pause the video and think that why this move is a mistake. Although it is controlling the 7th rank, it is hitting the queen over here on e2, but still it is a mistake. Now I want you people to think over it. What would the best move in this position? What is the best move instead of playing this move rook to d2? What is the best move for white over here? Oh, sorry, black for black over here. And in this position, the best move was that this knight is very well placed, and it was time to immediately challenge it. So the move was knight e7. Because now, if white plays the move knight f3, now knight b6. And you are coming over here. And you are going to control this side of the board. Sorry. And if you rook into d8 check, rook into d8, And now you may see after, for example, knight in the future comes over here, knight comes over here into d5. These two pawns are being threatened, both from white and black, and the position of the black is better. And exchanges has been done, and it is more drawish now. But after rook d2, now queen f3, and this rook is at present doing nothing over here on this second rank, because this rook is still pinned to the king. Rook d5, bringing the back and taking control of this diagonal from the white. Now rook 1 to c7, king h7 by black, and here king h2 by white. This move of black was an inaccuracy. I want you people to pause the video over here and think. I'm going to give you an option. Okay, that what is best move for over here. For example, after king h7 for white, white played the move king h2. What is the best move for white in this position? And I am going to give you an option. So it's better for you. For example, knight to f7, hitting is over here, or rook into d8, or third move king h2. And what is that? The move in the game was best one king h2, because if you take this pawn over here, now the problem is that queen e1 check, king e2, and now rook d1. Now it is black who is threatening. And to avoid this sequence of the moves, white did the move king h2 himself. Rook into c2, c8, sorry, rook into c8. Now queen into pawn. Black has taken this pawn, but his pawn would also be weak. White has taken up this pawn for these pawns. And here white played the move rook a8, and that was a mistake by Liren. I would say, yeah, it is a mistake by Liren. And I want you people to pause the video and think that what is the best move in this position for white. And I will give you an option. First is one same, knight into f7. The second option is rook c7, taking control of this 7th rank. The third option is same, rook a8. And the fourth option is that you play the move rook f8. Now you have 4 options. And we make mistakes in a game when we have a lot of options, lot of good moves, and we have choose the best one. One of this move is the best one. The other 3 are just good, and you have to choose the best one. And the best move in this position is rook c7. One of this is that now you are taken control of the 7th rank. This knight is also hitting this pawn, and this knight is not going anywhere. After king g8 for protecting the, for example, pawn, now e4, hitting this rook over here. Now after rook d8, now it is the time to take the pawn, rook into f7. And it's white who would be fighting for a win in this position. So rook a8 was played in the game. Now queen b7, hitting the rook. Now rook f8, the pawn, rook b5, and this was actually a blunder by Fabi. Instead, he should have gone for the move queen b4, and it was not an easy move to find out. Because now after rook into f7, now the move is queen b1. Why does not he play the move immediate? What is the difference by playing the move queen b1? first, because now knight into f7, and you are setting some real thing for black. But what is the different if black plays the move queen b4 first? The point is that you play the move queen b4, setting this rook, and you are asking black to take this pawn with rook, not instead of knight. That is the reason you play the move rook b4 first, not immediately playing the move rook queen to b1. And now rook has to take, and now queen b1. And this is the whole thing about it. Now rook has to take, for example, the knight. It is a combination actually, and it is actually a long one. These complete position changes. I want you to just put this position on the board in front of you and work it out, because in this position white is going to just going to exchange this rook for knight for two of the pawns, and the position would be equal. Till present the position is equal. So rook b5 was played by Fabi. Now queen f1. The point of playing this move queen to f1 is that as white is better in this position, because he is threatening this pawn, afterwards he's threatening this pawn also, and he will be hitting, he's hitting this rook over here, and his queen is coming over here on d3 with check. Queen d5 like now knight d7 challenging the rook. Now rook d8 pinning the queen, and b8 challenging the rook. Rook exchanges, knight into b8, queen b1 check, queen f5, now queen b7. The point of this queen b7 move is that it is protecting his own knight, hitting this knight, hitting this pawn also. So knight c6. The point of this knight c6 move is that, okay, you may take my knight, but I am not going to give you this pawn, because this knight protects this pawn over here on a7. So knight d6 first by hitting the queen. Now queen c5, still going after the knight and protecting his knight also. Knight e4, still hitting the knight, and queen c2. And this was the blunder of the game, which caused Fabiano the game. And I want you to think that why this move is a blunder. Please pause the video and think that why this move is a blunder. This move is a blunder because now knight f6 check, king g6, knight e8. What is going for this? So queen c3, protecting this pawn, hitting this pawn. Now e4 by white, protecting his pawn and still threatening this pawn check. a5 by black. He has nothing better to move now this pawn forward. Queen d7, a4 by black. And black was saying that, okay, I have protected this pawn over here, and I'm giving this pawn to you, but this pawn queen. But it did not happen actually, because now queen into e6 check, king h7, and now e5. Now this queen is being cut off from the defense of this g7 pawn. Knight d4 was played. It was another mistake actually, although white is winning in this position. It was better just sacrifice the knight over here. So after f into e5, now black, oh sorry, black goes for like this, queen c5. Still, it is completely winning. Knight d4, now queen d7, still hitting the knight, king g6, queen into g7 check, king f5, knight d6 check, king into f4, queen f6 check, king e3, e3, e6, and white's pawn is fast than black's pawn. d3 by black, now e7. And here in this position, Fabiano Caruana designed the game, and this is from this sorry game you have learned that how we have to choose. We have a many position. Sorry, we have a many options in the position, and we make mistakes when we have a lot of options in the position, and how to choose best move out of the position, that you assess your the position properly, orally. Okay, if you like my video, uh, kindly subscribe and hit the bell icon button. Thank you very much. Sorry, my just oh, thank you.